Hey everyone, welcome to another episode of Shape Your Story. My name is Nathan.
And I'm Lisa.
Awesome, Lisa. So last time we talked a little bit about stick figures, but I think you may have a way to make my stick figures actually look good, right?
Yes, and I have to admit, I have a real prejudice against stick figures because when we do stick figures, we're trying to symbolize a person, and to me, stick figures are so dehumanizing. But the solution is there are a couple of ways to draw people that I like that are almost as easy as stick figures and will make your human figures way more expressive and more fun to look at and more fun to draw.
Let's get started.
Okay, so this time I'm actually going to show you my iPad. I have an iPad Pro here. I'm using the Procreate app. Here's my Logitech Crayon, my trusty Logitech Crayon. So when you do a stick figure, everyone knows what that looks like. It looks like this. And this is why I think it really can't do anything. It just stands there and it symbolizes a person, but it's really not very expressive. So I'm going to see if I can get rid of him or them. And I'm going to show you two different ways to draw people that are not stick figures.
Okay.
So first one is what we call the star man or the star person. So everybody learned to draw a star in school. Look, this isn't even a good star, right? It's pretty messed up. The way you draw a star man is you get rid of the top point and you put like a head on it. Okay, so now you have a star with a circle on top or an oval, right? Doesn't have to have any face in it. Like you could draw a face in it if you wanted to, but you really don't need to. This is instead of a stick figure, so it's symbolizing a person. But where the magic comes in is that you can do whatever you want with the points now. It doesn't have to be in the shape of a star. So now you can have somebody reaching for something, or you could have somebody presenting something. So I'll make a little presentation here. There are all kinds of things that you can do with that person is like winning. You could do two people where one of them is like this and the other one is like that. And now it's like a high five, which could symbolize, hey, we did it, teamwork, that kind of thing. You don't even have to, you could show your whole team and not even worry about how many points there are in a star. Now we've got a whole bunch of people celebrating, right?
That's awesome.
But yeah, so can you see how much more expressive these characters are than a stick figure? And yet, they're not really any harder to draw. It just takes a little practice to see what you can do with the different points.
It's amazing that it started with a star. I never really thought about a star becoming a person, but it's so simple. That's what I love about it.
Well, because it has all those points. And right now, so that's one way. I'm going to show you an alternative way.
Okay.
To do people that instead of the star person, in case you wanted to do something else. So this is one that comes from an old-timey book about cartooning, and the author called it, I'll get the title of the book if I can. The author called it Keyhole Ken. And then if you just close up the top, now you have like a circle with kind of a rhomboid or trapezoid or whatever you want to call it at the bottom. And now you can add things like hands and feet. And now you have sort of a character that's able to do things. And this one is better if you're actually going to turn the character into something. Which way you point the feet and also the nose can show you which way the character is facing.
Yeah.
So if I wanted to give this person like some kind of a function, I could let's say he's a chef, he's got a hat, he's got a frying pan or something. Now suddenly that character is doing something, right?
Yeah.
You can add without any facial features. You can add. Here's if you add hair, it makes it easier to make it look like a girl or a woman. You can have a smaller one. Maybe it's a mom and a kid. Suddenly you have a story with different kinds of people. You can also use this as a rough and make it more finished later. And you can also add, expressions. There's maybe a teacher or somebody doing a presentation like we did with the star person. You could even, this is kind of silly, but you could even do it on its side. I've seen some people do this, and suddenly you also could have like a a different kind of a character altogether. I don't know when you would do this at work, but you've got like a little dog there, you know?
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, if you do it horizontally. So
that
you
took
have
me
the
a second to,
Starman and you have the
think of what you were
Keyhole
drawing, but yeah, that makes complete sense for an animal.
Yeah, you could actually make almost any animal, any four-legged animal doing that. If I wanted to do a keyhole this way and do this, and I wanted to do a four-legged animal, if I wanted to make it do some more like shapes, now I have a different animal, right?
It's definitely a cat.
Yeah. So I mean, obviously, if you practice more, you'll be able to do more different kinds of things. But between the Keyhole Character, Keyhole Ken or Keyhole Kim, or the Star Person, you can do lots of different kinds of activities, and you can show a lot more story than if you just do a stick figure.
That's pretty cool. All right, let's see what I can do. So we've got two things we want to try. Number one is the star stick figure, and then the number one would be the keyhole. And for those that are watching and tuning in and want to learn, listen, the only way to learn is to do it. So we're going to do this. As painful as this sounds, you're going to have to watch me try to draw. So sorry, Lisa, and sorry to the audience, but there's my desk, right?
Okay, and there's my desk.
So let's start with the star, right?
So remember, what you do to do the star is let's just make a star first. Just make it easier to make a star. Now you're doing it on paper, so you're not going to be able to, and you're using a pen, so you won't be able to erase the top one. But now
it looks weird.
That's all. It doesn't matter. If you were to erase the top one, let's just do one next to it. Let's do another star next to it. Only this time, don't leave the top one blank.
I was just drawing it out with a pencil so I can erase it.
Oh, you got a pencil? Okay, so if you erase the top point, then you can add. There you go. You can add a circle instead.
Oh, look at that!
Suddenly you have a little person there. Now, if you were going to do, the person doing something else, and let's make this one. Now, if I have two people there that are actually they could be talking to each other. You could make a voice balloon coming out, and now they're having a conversation.
Voice balloon. Let's see. I can never do these, right? I think like that.
Yeah. I didn't. I sprang that on you. I didn't tell you I was going to do that, but
you could do a whole episode on just call outs.
Absolutely. In fact, you don't even need a voice balloon. Like you said, call outs. You could just have a line coming out and then some words, right? Like, what is this person saying, right? It doesn't have to, again, this never has to be beautiful or perfect. This is all about communication, not about making a comic strip or making a piece of art, right? So the magic of the star person is I'm going to do the head first this time. And this time I'm going to do two people high-fiving each other. So I'm going to make this point go down, and these 2 points are like feet. And now this point is going to go up. And then I'm going to do another person. Their point is going to go up, touching the other person or near it. And they got 2 points going down, and the other point is just doing anything. And then just to make sure we know there's a little impact, we've got a couple of lines coming out, right? And this is a great way to symbolize partnership or teamwork or victory or something like that, right?
That's pretty freaking cool. These exclamation marks actually make a lot of sense to me.
It kind of amplifies whatever else is going on. I mean, sometimes it makes more sense than others, but just a couple of lines coming out adds emphasis, right? And also things like exclamation points. So, for example, make this a little smaller so I have more room. For example, if I wanted to have somebody who was confused, I could just have a star person with their hands doing whatever, and then put a question mark over their head. So we talked about punctuation.
Yeah.
Exclamations and question marks are really good. You can even put a whole bunch of question marks around them. It's like they're completely clueless about what's supposed to be happening. That's what's going on with that character. And even without any facial expression, that character is confused. That could be a customer who doesn't know which way, doesn't know which. There's too many choices, and they don't know which one to buy. For example, that could be
I want
telling
to call
that
out
story.
one thing real quick, Lisa, because I think what I noticed as you were drawing, you probably don't even realize you're doing it, but the angle of the hands make a difference, right?
Oh,
obviously, when you're
absolutely.
high-fiving each other, obviously they need to be up. But even something like down shows more relaxed, right? Versus straight up like that.
Well, actually, I'm glad you mentioned that, because if I make everything, it's just like in your real life. If you see somebody with drooping and everything is down, what do you think? How do you feel? What feeling do you get from that person? If I do that and then I put like a black cloud over their head, that person's having a bad day.
Oh, wow.
Right? It tells the story of somebody being sad or depressed or in a bad mood or having a bad day or something. Same thing, if I make everything going up, the feet won't go up, but if I make everything going up, that's like, that's a horrible drawing, but you can tell the person's happy and cheering for something. They've won something, or something good happened. So if you had somebody going from this to this or the other way, that's a transformation and that's a story.
All my heads seem to look like they have comb overs, which I would have if I tried to grow my hair out again. So it's gonna.
Well, I mean, you can decide to make them as expressive as you want if you want to add facial features. I like to avoid that. I try to draw as little as possible to get the point across, because anything you add that isn't necessary, then it becomes about the picture and not about the idea. The
Agreed.
more you add.
Agreed. Let's do the other one. Let's try.
Okay.
What was it called? Keyhole, right?
Yeah. So here we go with the Keyhole character. So again, you just make. Let's start that over. You just make the keyhole. So it's like a round thing at the top with sort of a kind of a rough triangular without, and then you just close up the top.
Oh, you do close it up. I just drew the circle first.
Yeah, that's okay. You don't. You can go right and draw the circle first. I just wanted to make people understand what the keyhole looks like. And now, depending on what you do with the feet and what I do is I'll just add like a couple of lines for legs and then like anything you want for feet and hands. The same thing here. Now this person's not doing anything, but they could be. This is basically a stick figure, but that's not doing anything. Instead
it's an enhanced stick figure. One thing I want to mention also is I cannot draw hands and feet. So this glove look is fantastic for me.
No one can draw hands. It's very hard, and it's usually not very important unless you're pointing.
Right.
In which case, if you want somebody pointing to something, you don't really need to draw a hand. You just draw their arm pointing.
Sure. Yeah.
Right. So you could decide what you want them to point to something. Maybe it's I don't know. I'm drawing a lot of presentations today, but maybe it's a flip chart that they're pointing to, or a something happening at their company where the stock is going up or something, right? So now he could be pointing. So if you erased the left hand of that character and made it point to the thing, to the chart, now that guy is present. There you go. Now that guy is presenting that we're talking about it, right?
That's pretty cool.
Yeah. So you can make the keyhole character. This is important. If you want to make them facing left or right, you point the feet in that direction. See? And if you were adding any facial features, you would also point the nose in the same direction. Right? So that's helpful if you want to have two people interacting with each other. And you can show that they're interacting with each other. I haven't even put arms on this, but you can tell this is a conversation or some kind of interaction. And just like with the star people, if I put their hands touching, that's like a handshake.
This guy I drew looks like he's trying to hug the presentation.
Well, that could be something too, right? Like they're running towards somebody or something like that. But if I put two people together and then I add, I'm going to make that go away for a second. If I add, now remember, I had with the star people, I had their hands going up and they were going like this.
Right.
But if I'm gonna erase that, and if I make their hands going across, I'm only drawing one hand, but now we've got now we have a deal. This is an agreement because they're shaking hands. You don't have to show them shaking hands. You just have a line going from one to the other, and there's some kind of an agreement taking place, right?
Got it. That's awesome. That's so simple.
Yeah. So and that way, if you do want to have some kind of designation as to what kind of person this is, hats help a lot. I don't know why you would necessarily want a baseball cap, but you could do that. That makes it right away look more like a child. So if you wanted to talk about kids, you might do that.
Yeah.
If you wanted to talk about somebody in business, you might give them a tie, and maybe color in some of the rest of it. Now we have some kind of a guy in a suit. I mean, I don't necessarily think you need to do these things, but if you want to be a little bit more specific about who these people are, then you might want to do something like that. And again, like I said, if you add long hair, I know it's a cliche, but if you add long hair, that reads as a woman. If you don't add any hair, it just reads as a generic figure.
I'm not even concerned that these guys don't have pants.
Yes, well, that's the thing. That's the problem. The more detail you add, then you want to add. Then you need to ask yourself the question: well, how come they're not wearing pants? Like, the little shirt on Winnie the Pooh always made me wonder about that. Is he dressed or is he not?
That's the one good thing, Lisa, about having meetings at home is that typically most people say they don't have to wear pants. I do.
That's right. Maybe they're not wearing pants on purpose. Maybe we're telling a story about people who are meeting online and they've got a suit on up top, a jacket and tie, and underneath there's nothing, right? But just kidding.
Funny.
But
that's great.
You can see how this is just a big upgrade from stick figures, and that's really what we wanted to talk about today.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Hopefully everyone was able to kind of follow along. We'll be back with many more lessons in a future episode or future episodes. But until then, thank you for watching Shape Your Story. Again, my name is Nathan.
And I'm Lisa.
Excellent. Thanks, everyone, and see you on the next episode.